All right, let's stand for the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call a meeting to order, please. Let's establish a quorum. Those here, Todd Reinhardt,
Present.
Dan Toro,
Here.
Dave Ott,
Here.
Brandon Stout,
Here.
Andrew Emmerich,
Here.
Bill Swing Valley,
Here.
John Elkins here, and our general manager, Chuck. All right, meeting is, the meeting, Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the prior meeting, which we've all distributed?
I make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The minutes are approved. Okay. Board meeting, president comments. I got a couple. You know, all of us in Sandoval want our community to be restored to its former beauty or better. And so we're in active one of the biggest things, that, as we all know, is our landscape. We've selected a landscape vendor. We're in active negotiations with them. We have every confidence that the landscaping on those homes being covered now by DTE will be so much better. We'll have a honeymoon period, and they'll be really watching things carefully, but that we really believe is going to be a lot better. Also, our contract for the common areas with Crawford is up for renewal. So we've sent out a RFP to 3 vendors, Crawford being one of them, but it could very well be that another vendor will win, because we believe that we can get improvement over what we've had, particularly this year since Crawford's been bought by another company. All right. So we're really looking forward to that, and we'll keep you advised as the contract goes along. Now, in looking, we're all worried about the value of our homes and what the beauty of Sandoval does to home values, and that's very true. There's something else I want you all to think about and look at. Look around and look at your yard and look at your roof. Is it dirty? Is your driveway dirty? Don't wait for compliance to ask you to clean it. Please do. That's one thing that will really help Sandoval right now. We have a lot of room for improvement there, so I'd ask you to do that. We've enjoyed cheap, high-speed internet for a while now. It's been breaking a lot lately, but we've had it at a great price. Our contract runs a few years longer, but we might have alternatives. So the current contract also doesn't have any teeth in it to get regress in the event of an outage of CenturyLink. In fact, if you ever looked at the contract, you see that at the maximum outage, the most you could get is $1.60, which is nothing. So as of today, I am announcing the creation of an ad hoc committee to look at future internet communications. Its chairman is Steve Cassins. Board liaison to that committee with Bill Simonelli, who has a background in telecommunications. They have 2 primary missions. One, learn and keep abreast of the developments in high-speed internet services that Sandoval could consider. And we all know that if we wait till the contracts run out, many things could change in the next 3 years. Second mission is look for currently available solutions that we can employ if somehow CenturyLink contract ends before the current schedule. So think about that one. Good. Now, I ask that any Sandoval resident that has a background and experience in this kind of telecommunications could contact Steve or Chuck for committee membership. We'd like to have anywhere from 3 to 5 members of this committee, and as I said, for the record, Steve's email address is txsteve7@yahoo.com, and that will be published. That's all for my comments. Next, treasurer. Do we need to move, Bill?
Yes, please.
Of course we do.
Jeff told me to move here. Yeah, he's got the remote. Okay.
Where's my light at?
All right. Okay. So, looking at the 23 and 24 operating expense budget, right now the 23 budget is on track with a slight year-to-date surplus. We'll go through some of those details in a few minutes. We're seeing sort of a cyclical trend of delinquencies are down, and once we get past the budget cycle, we'll be working on focusing on trying to address the longer-term delinquencies. There's been some delays in implementing our operating cash balance risk mitigation plan. That we'll be working with Associate and getting that going over the next month. Our plan is to put some funds into the ICS account, test paying one major vendor from that account before we move significant funds over to that. We wanted to get comfortable with the process of paying bills from that before we put close to $1 million in there. The big thing that's been occupying the Finance Committee and Associate Management and other committee members has been the budget planning. We have a town hall scheduled for the community on November 2nd at 6 o'clock. Prior to that, there will be probably an email correspondence and a written correspondence coming out highlighting the details of the budget proposal. And right now we're targeting the board voting on the budget proposal at the November 16th meeting. Total reserve funds, right now we're at $3.123 million. We have $380,000 in our Pacific Premier bank account. That's who we write the checks from for reserve projects, and up to recently where we've been writing checks for Hurricane Ian activity. Our investment account is at $2.8 million at this point. The market yield is now starting to creep up. We're back up to about 2.87%. And over the next couple months, I expect it's going to start getting north of 3.5%. We'll be talking more about this during the budget review, but reserve year-end contributions are a red flag, and it'll be something we'll have to deal with as part of the reserve budget planning for next year. The Hurricane Ian assessment, the first payment was due October 1st. As of yesterday, we have received over $1 million in payments towards the assessment. And also the good news, I'm sure Todd will talk about this some more, we received an insurance check for about $100,768. That's about 50 grand higher than we had anticipated in the assessment plan. So that's all good news. The insurance check is on its way to Fifth Third to be deposited, and it'll probably go in and deposit and probably go into a treasury at about 5.2% right now. There's no significant change. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the assessment mechanics when we get down the road of this presentation. As of now, there's no significant change in cost. Once we get past the budget approval cycle, we will be sitting down with associate management and do a bottoms-up review of all the expenses associated with Hurricane Ian, so we know how much money we can transfer back into reserves and how much we have to set aside for our remaining payments. At the top line, as I mentioned, right now we have a year-to-date variance on the income line of about $138,000. Our reserve assessments are down 121. That is primarily due to decreased house sale activity. Based on the real estate data that I got from Andrew Emmerich a couple days ago, I believe we are at 47 houses sold in this community through year-to-date. We had projected closer to 80 houses when we put the budget together last year. Our operating expenses, we are ahead, and we'll talk about those details in a minute. Major expenses, we're now starting to see the neighborhood landscape irrigation starting to catch up as the DT activity on irrigation repair work has increased. So we'll probably see that at a slight negative variance by the end of the year. Utilities are a good story because LCEC rates have stabilized, so we've been able to, so we're definitely below budget on what we had planned to spend on utilities this year. Landscaping is ahead, but I think with all the activity we'll be doing in the fourth quarter, with tree maintenance, trimming, sod work, and things like that, we'll see that sort of catch up, and I anticipate we'll be at a break-even point by the end of the year. Repair and maintenance is an up and down thing, and contracted services were ahead of the game there. Insurance, we'll be talking a lot more about that during the budget proposal, but right now we're seeing insurance policies coming in at about 20% over what we had forecasted last year for the budget. Other expenses, we're at that point in the year where we're doing some projects or activities that weren't planned for in the budget, like the pedestal painting. So those are gonna start hitting the contingency GL account. So we'll start seeing those types of expenses showing up in future financial statements. Administrative is still ahead of the game, and taxes is doing fine too. So as I said, from an operating expense perspective, we're in pretty good shape. Total assets with the operating balance sheet. I met with the associate back on October 17th, and we're trying to get a committed schedule out of them to put the changes into the balance sheet that were recommended by the 2022 audit. So hopefully by year end, our goal is that the balance sheet will reflect the values of the properties like this clubhouse. That'll increase at about $2.5 million. The reserve balance sheet, overall increase in the reserve contributions, and we haven't paid any significant invoices in the last 30 days, so that's been pretty stable there. This is the first time that we're presenting the Hurricane Ian assessment balance sheet. This financial statement is of September 30th, so you can see that we had a lot of people starting to write checks even before it was due October 1st. As I mentioned, we're now over $1 million with the total assets in that account. As we know, there were issues with how the Hurricane Ian assessment was being shown in terms of whether or not you satisfied the requirement on the town square accounts. We met with Associate on the 17th or 18th to go through that, and we believe that those corrections have been made. If you go on town square and verify your account, if you made a one-time payment, you should see that your balance is satisfied. We're going through reviewing that with Associate, and one of the things that I want to do is once we're satisfied that this has been corrected, we'll sit down and do an audit of who's paid up, the number of people that have paid up at one time versus the number that are still doing deferred payments, so we can sort of plan out when we can start transferring that money into our investment account and make sure we have some sufficient funds to pay the remaining bills for Hurricane Ian. Total delinquencies are down. Once we get through the budget cycle, we'll put another big push on trying to deal with these longer-term delinquencies. In general, we're doing, I think, we're showing cyclical patterns that are pretty typical. The last slide that I want to go through is the capital or reserve spend through the end of through mid-October, I should say. We've spent $1,050,000 on capital projects between Hurricane Ian, reserve plan projects, and discretionary projects. Based on the approved projects and one that we'll be talking about later today, we will be spending about approximately $76,500 between now and the end of the year out of the reserve funds. Thank you.
Blue light.
Let's hear from our general manager, Chuck Gill.
We had an opportunity to ask a question about the finances.
Well, if you want to, absolutely.
Yes, I just had one question for Chuck and Bill. For those accounts that are in delinquency, are we restricting amenity use?
Yes.
Just to be a clarification for the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Once they're turned over to the attorney, they lose their privileges.
Very good.
My turn?
All yours.
All right. We have 9 violations. Majority of those are dirty roofs, dead trees. Can I have a motion? You had an opportunity to review those. Would you like to do a motion to approve all of them?
I'd make a motion to approve all of them that's presented in the package.
I'll second that.
Go ahead.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed, no? Motion carried. Thank you, Chuck.
Okay. GM report. We've been doing a lot of prep for fall. One good news is we had the tiki installed surprisingly this past week. We kind of got jumped up in the schedule, and we've finished all of our renovation tasks for Barclay Park, and this Thursday will be the reopening of Barclay Park. I'll save some, I won't say anything else because Jessica's here and she'll be speaking about that more in detail. We continue to do tree trimming in the common areas. Coconut palms have been taken care of. We're moving on to sables on the Esplanade. All of the trees in the front of the clubhouse and Royals will be addressed in the next couple of weeks. Mulch, we also have Crawford is currently doing a lot of hand weeding as well as weed control in the common area, in the beds, in preparation for mulch to be delivered last week of November or the first week of December. So we want to get those beds all prepped in time for the mulch. Hopefully, prior to that, we'd like to move forward with the power washing of all the sidewalks in the common areas prior to putting the mulch down. So we've got also 8 dead foxtail palms that were replaced just yesterday and today at some of the street monuments. And we continue to kind of try to get the common area put back together again. Along the lines of compliance, we've sent out 150 violation letters this month. We have obviously 9 violations for board approval, and we have 13 gate strikes this month, which is drastically high. And we've captured $1,330 collected from damages for those gate strikes. There's still a few that are outstanding, but this is a much higher number than we're used to seeing, and you know, we're not sure how to fix that, but we are going after those who damage it. The other thing in regarding to the pool bridge has been repaired and has a fresh coat of paint. So that's all I have to report on the pool. I'll save the pickleball to new business. Any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the over 100 violations, what's our experience? Most of these, I assume, have to do with dirty roofs and driveways?
Yes.
Is our experience that once we send it out, people then correct it and therefore aren't fined?
The majority.
Right, and I would just, once again, I would just ask, don't wait for that, go ahead and clean it up. Our place needs to look a lot better.
I just have one quick comment. It's a compliment to Chuck and his crew. Is year to date, we've collected over $16,000 in fees from damages to the gates, etc. That's incredible, and thank you for you and your crew for doing so.
Yeah, we haven't done that in the past.
Never.
No, that's the first time we've ever been able to collect that, so thank you, Joe.
Any other questions?
Mm-hmm.
On to old business?
Strategic planning.
Mr. President, we'd like to move that item down to the committee reports when we get down to that level, if we could, please.
Of course, and once again, strategic planning committee has done a yeoman's job in creating a plan and working on a great plan for our next 3 to 5 years. I look forward to hearing that. Safety and security, that proposal has been delayed as well, hasn't it? Stan?
Yeah, that proposal, yeah, it's delayed. We took a survey sort of on Facebook, and it was completely negative. You know, nobody wants the LEDs and everything else that goes there, and it makes sense. It's a lot of money, and it changes the look of the neighborhood.
But they don't know what you're asking about. Specifically was the lights on top of the
Yeah,
sign.
the LED lights on stop signs, and pretty much that's it. The LEDs on the stop signs, and a couple other things that was in the package. We're bringing it back. The committee's gonna bring it back, and listening to the management and to the rest of the board. So it was just too much. So we're scaling it back. We're looking at the speed cameras again to capture speeders and to see the actual speed on there. That seems to make the most sense instead of everything else that we looked at. So Chuck is looking at different camera options. Safety and security is looking at different camera options, and we're gonna go with that for now.
In that option, we'll have the opportunity to actually find and receive revenue.
Yeah, it'll take your picture, it'll find if you live here, and it'll record your speed, and then we can go move forward with fines and everything else that we need to do.
Okay, in terms of new business, I already discussed the ad hoc committee. Once again, I encourage any of you who've had specific experience and training in high-speed communications, particularly internet, please help us. You know, I certainly am not qualified. I know Steve is, and we've got a few months of Steve before he goes. We've got at least 6 months of his time, and then I think he's trying to buy a place in Sicily. But he'll come back to visit occasionally. Yeah. He has a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay, the next is Chuck didn't bring it up, but I always want to mention, you know, when they said to me that we had a problem with the lights out front around the tennis ball and pickleball courts, I thought, how could that be? And I took some pictures of it myself, and those, right at the juncture, those things are rusting to the point that it's dangerous. So, Chuck, you're about.
Yes, well, we were installing the new hurricane damaged lights on the tennis court side. We had some light repair that was scheduled on the pickleball side. And I have a written report from the president of the light maintenance company, who basically deemed the light structures on the tennis court side a liability. At which time we immediately closed down those courts and brought to the attention of the board. And we did have this as a possibility for a budget item for 2024. So we do have the prices, so we're able to react pretty quickly. And this has gone to the Finance Committee. It is $42,658.20 to replace all of the lights, the new lights on the pickleball side.
Has it been to the finance committee?
Yeah, the
Has the
finance
finance
committee,
committee has earmarked it for approval? Do we,
Yes,
we have,
yeah.
we
We voted
found the money in
unanimously.
contingency?
yes, we voted unanimously that we recommend that the board adopt it, that it fits within the available reserve funds this year.
Would you make a motion to that effect then, or how would that be done? Chuck can't make the motion.
I make a motion that we accept the quote to repair the pickleball lights for the quote,
At the amount of,
Not to exceed
not to
43.
exceed
not to exceed $70,000.
70?
No, no.
I'm sorry,
$42,000.
50,000, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not to exceed
That's a
50,000.
prize I'm not ready for, okay.
I'll second.
Let me repeat that, please. What is the language we have?
The language is a motion by Bill to accept the quote to replace the pickleball lights with a not to exceed $50,000, seconded by Mara.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, just quickly, just so people know, this is a reserve item, not an
Right.
operating budget
Right.
item.
Right.
That's very key. What was the timeline on the reserve study for replacement of those items? Do you happen to know off the top of your head? Just a wild guess?
Well, I think it was,
Because they're almost like 15 or 16 years old
I
anyway.
think it was either 25 or 26.
So it's right there.
It was right there. One of the things that was determined that this damage was a result of normal wear and tear, not from the hurricane. So it has to come out of the general reserves. And
We're gonna try something, not that it's a guarantee, but we're gonna submit this to the insurance company and let them tell us no. If we get money out of it, fantastic. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play that a little bit.
okay,
And to reiterate, this is a safety and liability concern,
Of course
correct?
it is.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we
Just
can be
wanna-
close.
Very clear as a community that this is not.
Any other discussion on
And
Yeah,
that?
when are you gonna get it done?
November.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay. The next item of business, if we now go into committee reports, and a big one,
Lynn?
landscaping, Dave,
You already
landscape.
told them most of the stuff, so.
Oh, come on. Next. I had to say something, you know.
Yeah, like John said, the contract is being worked on at Becker. Once we get that squared away, we'll send it off to Juniper to let them review it and start negotiations from there. The common area proposals are due by Monday of next week, so we should have some numbers from the various companies then. And then, once we get those numbers, we'll go through the same process we went through for the bulk landscaping. We'll review everything, and narrow down our selection, and start negotiations right away.
I just want to say that David and the committee have done an outstanding job. They worked really hard on this. They wouldn't even let COVID hold him down in this process. I think he only took a couple of days off and did work from home. So thank you very much for the progress we made.
And then, one other thing is the common areas, the replenishing of the vegetation that was lost from the hurricane. I have received a bid from one company to replace it. I'm still waiting on their design so we can visualize what this is gonna look like. My intention is to take their bid, remove the prices from it, and get bids from some other companies so we can do some comparison. It's most likely gonna be a 3 to 4 year project to get everything put back in place. There will be some changes, but until we see the designs, I don't know exactly what those changes are. Once I get that, I'm gonna get an electronic copy and hard copies. I will send it out so people can take a look at it. And The nice thing about the way they did this, whether we go with them or another company, is they broke everything up into small sections so that we can pick and choose what we see as the most important thing first until we get the entire thing done. And I'm gonna leave that kind of up to the landscape committee to suggest what the process is or in the sequence that we go in to repair things. And that's it for landscaping.
Communications.
Communications, the committees continue to update and edit the website, and that's really all that we've been doing.
I got a question. No, sorry, my bad.
Wait till the comments at the end, please, or slip a note to us or something.
No worries.
Who will speak of ARC?
Art, Marty.
Hey, good, hey, Marty, coming up. It's another extremely hard-working committee,
Yes.
they meet almost daily these days, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 67 applications in October, the 2 meetings we had. We are receiving, in fact, this month, we've received 21-page roof applications. We can't do anything with a 1-page application.
No.
It's basically, it's sad, it'll say new roof. So if they get denied, and then we get railed on because we denied their application. And we're going on, what, month number 14 since the hurricane came through, and we started sending out notices about what is a complete application. So that's 14 months of notification, so I don't know what else we can do. And I know you all don't like denials, because you get the same emails I get, but I don't,
I have a question for you.
yes.
Could some of those be people that are just making the application so they don't have to clean the roof, or?
Oh, more than half,
Okay.
yeah, more than half. Yeah. So, okay. So, since Ian hit, we've approved 471 roof applications. That's 40% of the possible roofs, because we took out Anguilla, the twin villas, we've taken out Somerville. So there's 1,159 possible roofs that could be repaired.
And they got the villages too, right?
Yes, the twin villas, we took out, Pamplico, they're twin villas also, okay. So that's how we came up with 1,159 possibilities. So, we have concerns, I don't know what you all can do about it. But we've got vendors coming in, no ARC application approved, no K-Coral permit, they're putting up roofs. I just want y'all to be aware of it.
Okay.
You mentioned K-Coral permits, and then, we have 2 vendors, and I know we can't blackball, I know we can't recommend, but we've got 2 vendors that we're noticing. You were approved for ABC, I'm just making this up. You're approved for ABC. And then the vendor said, I can't get ABC, but I can get XYZ. And you're going, no, I don't want XYZ. They put it up anyway. And we have no control, you know. I just want you to be aware that's what's happening.
Okay, you mean, is it XYZ construction or XYZ color?
Yeah,
Color.
yeah. So.
Oh.
And I don't know what recourse there is. I just want you to be aware of it, because I don't want it to come back on us if we didn't do our job. And I don't know what else we can do.
Well, the penalties that we're imposing, I want to mention it again, is if you attach a roof without an application, you'll be fined $100. If you attach a roof without an application and that color you put on is the color that would not have been approved, you'll be fined $1,000. So it's significant, and we need to keep up with that. It's not a thing to treat trivially.
A conversation that ARC has had with Andrew and Marilyn there also, and you all are aware of this. people will say, well, what's the fine? $1,000, it's no problem, I'll just write a check for $1,000 and put up what I wanna put up. So I don't know if you can do both. Can you also do the amenity side of it along with the penalty? I know a lot of people are not gonna stick their license into that little box, however it works, and deal with the lines behind them getting honked at. To me, I think I'm speaking for the committee, the amenities part is more of a detriment than $1,000.
Marty, I've sought legal opinion on that,
Oh, good, okay.
and we cannot.
Double fine.
No.
So it's
cannot.
one or the
We
other?
cannot. We cannot. We could, and if we were to litigate, that has significant risk. We're gonna have somebody take the roof off. I would ask that people be more respectful of our community and try to adhere to our colors. If you think they paint $1,000 and wave it, an improper sign at us, so far you might be able to get away with it, but it's not the way to be in a community, please.
Question for you, Marty. Do we have a list assembled of the roofs that have been installed without an ARC application and an approved?
A month or two ago, we compiled a list, and I think it went to Chuck, and it went to Chris. Did it go to you, John?
No,
Marilyn, did you, it was like,
how big's the list?
20 or 30.
Well, let's work the list.
The list is 20 or 30, but there's, different situations.
Let's work the list.
Yeah.
That's where some of the initial fines came from, Todd, to answer your question.
Okay. My point is that, they need to be held accountable for not following the process. We need to identify them.
Absolutely.
And let's make sure they know the process. We'll publish it again.
Well, ignorance is not a defense. It's been published and published to talk about, and I'm empathetic, but at the same time, I just think that we need to identify those particular ones that did follow the process, or you've got a situation where they did use a contractor who was licensed and permitted the roof, right? That's the bigger problem.
We have a wide selection of color choice. I've noted on several occasions, your version of tan is pretty wide. That falls in most of the others. Please find a color that's in your neighborhood and keep our values where they are.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Is that it,
report.
Marty? Now, what, were you gonna talk about the, garbage cans, part of this or not?
Oh, we could, but I was gonna wait until next
It's
month.
noted
Yeah.
by the state.
Okay, okay, well, let's talk about it. Marty and some of the people in Market have said that, some people have put barriers in front of their garbage cans other than vegetation. And our rules say vegetation only to scare the view of the garbage can. There's suggestions that some sort of barrier, like a white fence, should be allowed. We will consider that, but that's gonna be researched and brought up at the next board meeting.
Social is Jessica.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jessica Cartier, and I am the Lifestyle Director here at Sandoval. So the social committee has been very busy. We are gearing up for the season and the snowbirds coming back. So we do have a welcome back party. It's going to be in the Pelican building. I just want to make that clarification. We do have Calypso Magic that's going to do a performance. It is a steel drum artist. So I just wanted to mention that we continue to have a multifaceted approach. So we are looking to have a little bit more fresh ideas. So if you are a resident that has any ideas, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear what you would like to see within the community. And that can be things like physical health, mental health. As we know, we have a great working relationship with Lee Health. They are starting their dizziness series. It's a 3-part series. The next one is going to be on November 6th. But we also have our garage sale. Just wanted to let you know, if you have a permit, just send it over to me via email. I can get you on the map. So that's we only have 29 homes actually participating. Last time we had about 56. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that the community garage sale is going to go on the November 4th. Also, we're trying to bring more of an accommodating environment for the working professionals in Sandoval. So we did have our bracelets for the haunted house and the Halloween night available for 2 evenings. We sold 50 just last night, just for those individuals. So we are trying to be more open and have evening events. A lot of them are 7, 8 o'clock on. So I welcome everybody, especially the working professionals, to tangent out and come on out to our events that we are doing in the evenings. As I mentioned, we're gearing up for the season, so we also don't want to forget about the kids. So we actually had a really good bingo night for the teen and tweens. We had 25 teens show up. That's another thing I want the community to know is I'd like to know if you have teens and what they would like to see in the community, because I think that they've been forgotten in the past. So I just want to make sure that that is communicated as well. Our carry-in dinners are really well attended, and I think that that's a result of the hard work of the social committee, making sure that everybody is aware of things going on in the community. We also have an Instagram page, so if you search Sandoval Lifestyle, you'll see a lot more of the events, and obviously keep comments respectful. It is a place where you can comment. I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that as well. Tomorrow we have our Barclay Park reopening, and I have a whole box of chew toys, and that's for the dogs that dress up. We're gonna let them choose what they would like to have. So there's ropes and things.
And the time?
It's gonna be at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. So that's all I have for the moment.
What about ham radio? That's next thing.
Yes, the ham radio club, we have about 4 or 5 people already registered for the ham radio. This is to become an operator, and Melody is the contact if you would like to participate. It's November 4th in the morning, 8 a.m. to noon, but also on the 11th of November. The 11th is going to be the test. It's much more detailed of a class, so that's where you'd want to go if you want to take the test to become an operator. If you're just on the fence, come please on the 4th, and maybe then you'll decide to come on the 11th. So.
Jessica, it may be also good to go ahead and mention again what we're doing for Christmas on December 10th.
Yes, on December 10th, we are going to have Winterfest. So we're going to have a big tree lighting. The tree's going to be placed in front of the Pelican building this year, and not in front of the clubhouse, because this is where a lot of the fun happens in the Pelican building. We'll also have a vocalist. She was 4th on American Idol. Her name is Casey Bishop, so we did book her. She has a gorgeous voice. We'll also have hot dogs and hamburgers around 4 o'clock. There's going to be a market with different vendors and a wrapping station. So if you'd like to get a gift, you'll be able to do that. We'll also have Wonder, their name escapes me, Wonderland Ice Cream. Will be here selling their products as well. So along not only the tree that we're going to be lighting, but we're also going to be lighting a menorah, so to make it a lot more inclusive. And that's another part of that multifaceted approach that we're doing in the social committee, being more diverse and more inclusive in our efforts.
Halloween.
Oh yeah, Halloween. Halloween is coming, guys.
It'll be before you know it. We've sold a lot of bracelets. They are still available. You can go to the front office or come into the Pelican building. My office is just a little one on the corner there. We have our Fright Fest this Saturday. Now it's gonna be from 5 to 9. We have the haunted house, so this Pelican building will be closed tomorrow and Friday for that setup. So we'll also have the trunk or treat. I have a dozen people signed up to decorate their cars. If you're interested, I still have some spots. So you can reach out to me via email. Email is the best way to do that. And then of course we'll have the pumpkin patch for the little ones, that is free. So the trunk or treat and the pumpkin patch are free, but the haunted house, anyone going through it will need a wristband, that's $5. And I think that's it.
Amenities. Dan.
The team bingo thing, that was great, by the way. My kids loved it, so they'll definitely be back. Yeah, that was cool. With the prizes and everything else, it was pretty neat. Amenities, it's easy because Chuck goes over the important stuff like the pool and stuff. So not much to say except for Denise in our committee has a ton of great ideas on how to make the property, the Pelican building, the gym, the lobby more Caribbean looking with different colors and more pop. If you look around in here, it's just drab. It's just bland. It's you know, it's not Florida. It's somewhere, I don't know where, somebody's basement in New Jersey, I guess. So she's got great ideas, and it's a little bit of money, so we're gonna have to bring it in and propose it and see what we can get. But she's doing a really good job. Also, we're trying to get another addition to amenities out here by the volleyball court and a beanbag toss. You know, just it seems to be very popular. I'll give it a shot. Cement, you know, heavy duty, real nice. Also is going to be part of the proposal that she's working on. That's pretty much it for amenities. The gym is doing great. The machines, one machine down right now that I'm sure Ryan and management is going to take care of. It's really busy in there. I mean, it's busy. Word gets around, and my only thing is, you know, get off your phones if you're at the gym. Just work out. Get up. Let everybody else work out. Stop hogging the machines. That's my pet peeve when I'm in there. The treadmills, everything else is being utilized. So it's really nice. I'm glad to see a lot of people, young and old, in there just working out. It makes me feel good that we spend the money on that and that people are utilizing it. So that's it for the amenities. Safety and security, they're working hard. It's a great group. They really care. They don't want anybody getting hurt from accidents or pedestrians or anything else like that. They worked hard on the LED lights around the stop sign and the cameras and this. So I really appreciate what they do. They're also humble in the fact that they scaled back the proposal because it was really expensive and it wasn't very popular, and they listened to you guys through Facebook and comments. So we're not gonna just shove these things down everybody's throat and have property value go down, and then, you know, then Bill's report's gonna be all messed up anyway. So they're doing a great job. They mean well. We're gonna go with the speed cameras, this and that. I mean, we're asking you, please just stop at the stop signs, slow down. I was coming in a couple weeks ago, just normal through veterans, and I guess I was a little bit too close to the car in front of me, and she went through, I went through, she gave me the one finger salute, and I had no clue. I mean, I'm in the car with my kids, I'm just going right through. It says silver Mustang convertible going into the condos. So if you guys know this white lady, give him the finger, just tell her to calm down. Silver Mustang at the condos.
What was the tag number?
I didn't get it. I should have got it. But, you know, I think that should be enough if they watch it. You know, just be courteous to each other. The four-way stop sign right in front of the building. I know you guys are going through it, trying to beat each other there. So just slow down, please, so that, you know, we can not have crashes. I know we haven't had one. I haven't had any report of any, but, you know, it is what it is.
Stan, your report was that a lot of those were willful stop sign running, is that correct? On some
Yeah,
of
the one
investigation
report that,
that you were investigating as a group.
yeah.
So a lot of willful stop sign running.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't care. A lot of the commercial vehicles that obviously really don't care. But there's also a high number of people that make complete stops that do care. So kudos to you guys who stop. I stop, because then you'll come in here and then tell me, whatever. But yeah, we have a lot of people that are just running them. They just, especially on the parkway out here in the racetrack. So just slow down, please, and just be mindful of people crossing and everything else, and dogs, and that's pretty much it for that. Thank you.
Lakes.
Okay, thanks. Jane, would you like to speak about lakes? Jane Simonelli.
Hi. So the Lakes Committee meeting was October 19th this month, and the next meeting is November 9th. The Lakes Committee newsletter went out October 4th. I hope everybody saw it and read it. If you didn't see it, you should talk to Jessica and get on the email. We've submitted the budget for next year. In that, we included the monthly maintenance vendor, 3 fishing events, planting littorals, and shoreline repair. We're planning a fishing event for November 16th. 26th. You're right, sorry. November 26th. And that'll be open to the whole community, and all the lakes will be included. So come out and try to get rid of some of the invasive fish in our lakes. We are still waiting for estimates from 2 vendors for the work to be done next year for shoreline repair. We thought we would have these estimates by now, so we keep calling the vendors, but we're not getting numbers. The littorals should be planted this week, knock on wood, which I don't have any here. The pond watch values remain consistent. We did a round of sampling all the lakes, and we're going to do that again on the 30th. And the idea is to compare the quality of the water from before fertilizing began and after it began. The other thing is the Lakes Committee meetings have been scheduled through June, and they're on the calendar, and they'll be, I'll have them added to our website. Any questions?
I might point out that in prior years, the county would only look at 1 or 2 lakes data at a time. The fact that they're looking at all lakes at once means that they really have a closer relationship with our Lakes Committee, and you'd be congratulated on getting that extra help from them. Thank you. Okay. Finance, Bill.
Okay, so finance, the primary activity of the finance committee over the last month has been working on the budget proposal. We've had approximately 9 meetings over the last month with either various committees or among ourselves to look at proposals and we have one more meeting scheduled for late this week to put the final proposal together that will be presented to the community on the 2nd. And it'll be communicated in writing prior to the 2nd. And one other thing is that we're down 1 committee member, and we possibly will be down 2, so if anyone else is interested in joining the finance committee, please get your application into Chuck.
This is the most thorough analysis with committee input we've seen on the budget process. Thank you so much for your committee.
Let's wait till we see the numbers.
I know, but at least we got the input we need.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Years
it's.
ago, people
well, I think
were
it's-
looking in
it's-
the dark, throwing darts
So
at
I
it.
think it's been, over the last year, there's been a lot of involvement with the residents, with the committees, getting very good subject matter experts, so, had very good meetings with landscape committee, social committee, lakes committee. I'm meeting with safety and security later in the week, so we can start sort of planning out next year as part of, part of what they're doing, so, I think, the fact that they're willing to be part of the process is very positive.
Agreed. Covenants, Andrew.
Yes, covenants this month had difficulty meeting quorum of committee membership, so we are having the two violations that were sent at the end of last board meeting will be heard on November the 2nd, and those that are approved this evening will be heard a week later, November the 9th, a week prior to our board meeting. So no real feedback from that committee this particular week. I would like to reiterate what John has been emphasizing. It is a good time to evaluate the maintenance of your own homes, particularly for the snowbirds that are coming down and getting here for the next few months or 6 months. Good time to focus on the maintenance of your properties. That tends to be the biggest situation that the covenants committee is dealing with. Driveways, roofs, landscaping, etc. on your own properties. Okay. Take pride,
Thank you.
be respectful.
Risk management, Todd.
On behalf of Chairman Bill Dunker, I just have a couple of comments. As Bill talked about in his treasurer's report, we received a check late last week for $100,768.31, which was approximately about $50,000 more than we anticipated in the original claim. I have to give a lot of credit to Craig Schneider, who kind of led the charge with communication with the adjuster and the insurance carrier. And along those lines, we're anticipating some additional dollars to come our direction from the pool pumps. And as I mentioned, we're going to submit the lights as a possible reimbursement on a claim too. So we'll see what happens with that, but Craig did one heck of a job, and he deserves a pat on the back. The other is that we continue with Bill Dunker leading the charge on reviewing vendor contracts, as well as he was very instrumental in both the RFP process and preparing a draft of a contract for both, preparing a contract primarily for the bulk landscaping agreement that we're working and negotiating through the attorney with. And my comment there is the amount of quality work that Bill does for this community is quite amazing, and so he's another one that's a very valuable committee member. So that's my comments on risk management.
Strategic plan.
Strategic planning, I'll turn it over to Mr. Jerry Kern.
Thank you. Strategic planning had a lot of effort right before the board meeting last month, trying to finalize our strategic plan and get it forward for board submission. Most of what we've done in the past month has really been kind of sitting back. We've gotten several inputs from various board members on some adjustments, edits, suggestions for improvement. We've done that. I met again this week with John and Todd, and I met and had even more edits and suggestions. I've taken that, I've actually got those changes implemented thus far, so my plan will be I will submit that to the board for yet final approval and additional review. Again, if you've not submitted edits or comments, please do so. And kind of and then I met with the board, or with the committee. We met just yesterday to review the board inputs thus far. And so everybody in the committee had opportunities for input and understanding and additional refinement and revisions. But I think in general, where the strategic plan is come from, again, from never having one in the past to where we are today, we've done a really great job, I believe, in identifying all of the various efforts that all of the committees are contributing. We've been able to align those into very directed strategic goals, combine combining efforts from multiple groups. And we've given the groups and the various committees the opportunity to kind of see behind the curtain to what a lot of the other committees are doing. And I think what we're doing now with having the committees to come up here and give their own reports also is sharing those contributions of the multitude of committees, where before we've always worked in silos. And I think as a community, we're really starting to come together. And I think the efforts of the strategic planning committee, the efforts of the board in bringing the committees forward to share that information and opening the eyes to the rest of the community of all of the various efforts, you know, it's really helping to create a cohesion amongst the whole community and all the various efforts. And we're seeing a lot of collaboration amongst committees as well, which I think that in and of itself has been a huge bonus of this entire process. But we'll get this submitted over to the board this week yet, have a review, and then hopefully without any additional ado, it'll be ready for board approval next month. Thank you.
I have, before you leave the microphone, I just have a couple of quick comments. I think this is appropriate. Would you please recognize the members of the strategic planning committee that have put the time and effort into this?
Gosh, you're
I
gonna
would
put
be
me
on
on
the spot.
you're gonna put me on spot because I didn't bring a copy of it with me up here. But
Well, we got Beth Ann.
Beth Ann Hosley is here, Eric Bly, Jack Pound, Janie Fry, Bill Simonelli, and our liaison is Tom Ryder.
So, you know, the thing that's impressed me since, when did we implement the strategic March?
We probably started, I don't know if it was quite March, but it was probably by, right after the election though, yeah.
This particular committee took the task, the challenge, and ran with it without very little board influence or input. And so this is a committee-driven thing, so kudos to everybody that was on that committee. You did one heck of a job, so thank you so very much. As a follow-up to that is that the thing that the committee was impressed with last evening was the board actually provided input to the plan. You said what you liked, you said what you didn't like, and I think that impressed the committee that there was some buy-in from the board with that, so thank you for responding to that. That's all I have. Thank you, Jerry.
I appreciate your comment, and again, I think ultimately, you know, our original vision for the strategic plan is two things. First and foremost, can we identify where we're at community-wide? What are our projects? What are we at? And what is point A? And then secondarily, obviously, the strategic plan is, you know, what is point B, and how do you get there? And so we've still got work to do. We're going to continue to do revisions and so forth, probably over the next year to strengthen the existing strategic plan, whether it's this group or additional volunteers that have interest in joining us. But I would like to think that, you know, let's say by this time next year, we have a true, solid strategic plan that's going to lead us forward for the next 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Jerry. Now, the town hall is the second, is that right?
Yeah, no, November 2nd at 6 p.m.
Okay. Everybody remember, please come to the town hall meeting. The next board meeting will be November 16th, to be earlier, because we're trying to really get ahead of the budget planning process. And
Thanksgiving.
and of course, there's Thanksgiving. And
So just one comment, with the November 16th meeting, we will not have October financials, so we'll probably just pass on the treasurer's report, focus on the budget.
Understood, okay. Based on those things, the meeting is now adjourned. We're open for resident comments. Tia, did you have a question? Yes.
Come up to the podium, please.
It has to do with Juniper. Is Juniper's RFP inclusive of Greendale, Woodbourne, and the other neighborhoods? Yes?
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Why do you want to retain DTE for
Why?
Greendale, Woodburn?
No, I don't understand why. I'm just gonna say this. We got mulch. That was wonderful. Why didn't they spray for weeds before they put the mulch down?
Because this hand doesn't know what that hand's doing.
That's why we're not gonna stay with DTE.
There's all kinds of reasons not to. It's, and it gets worse.
I have a resident I have a comment as a resident. I know that Sandoval Living on Facebook was taken over by somebody else, admin. And I think with 1.5, with 1,500 homeowners, I think this guy Caleb is doing a decent job. He might not be everybody's whatever cup of tea, but that site itself has been cleaned up and there's a lot of good information in it. I don't have a dog in the race, but I just want to thank him if he's listening that he's doing a good job.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, yes. Patricia?
So there's small business that the board approved last year, last July or August. Common area referred to as gray areas. Quarterly maintenance was supposed to be done. It hasn't been done. It was done in January. It wasn't completely done and no one's come back. So I guess my question is, we put numbers in the budget. It's not being taken care of. Who's accountable to make sure it gets taken care of? I've sent a number of emails and I just sent another email the other day to Chuck. I don't get a response. That's not acceptable.
Chuck, when are they gonna do that again? You know?
They mow it, but they cut as needed. There's trees that were trimmed back, so there's access to it, but they're not cutting down all the trees because it's preserved.
They're not doing their job. There's dead plants in the lakes, and not being on the lake committee, that has a direct impact on the wellness of our lakes. And so I think someone needs to go back and take a look at what's been done, how much has been allocated to Crawford or whoever, and they're not mowing the lawn. There's a private person that's been mowing the lawn. So if they're telling you they're doing it, they're not.
The lawn, you mean the common area? But
Common.
that's a preserve, it's not
What
a
it-
mowed area.
I don't know what you classified it. It's a common area.
I know that. Yeah. Believe me, I've been
Yeah, I've been there. I live it every day. I
there. I
have
know
to
you
look
do,
at
you
it.
live there.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. It's, we'll look at it again, sir.
I appreciate it.
All right, okay.
And I'd like not just the comment of looking at it, but I'd like to know when. Because I think I've
Well-
been more than patient.
You wanna, when someone will look at it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and when it's going to be maintained quarterly as approved in the board meeting.
That particular question is at odds. I don't think that your idea of the quarterly maintenance and what's being done are matching each other. In other words, it's our manager's understanding that they are doing what they were told to do.
Well, they're not, because if you look at the minutes, it says invasive and
Yes, but those
dead trees.
those minutes need to be corrected. If we knocked out invasive species from preserves, we'd knock out half the preserves.
I think
There's
if
some
you-
invasive species that are just gonna be there in the preserve area.
I think if you take a look at the Cape Coral landscaping code violations, you're gonna find that you're in violation. So you may wanna look at that too.
Okay.
Okay.
This, we have a serious disagreement, but I'll promise to go by there again.
I appreciate it.
All right.
All I'm asking for you to do is what was approved.
Well, what was approved was maybe misstated. We maybe need to change the
Well, we
approval.
can't, John, in all due respect to everybody, I appreciate everybody's time who volunteers. I know there's time that
Yeah.
goes into it, but this has to stop. It's a
What has
common
to-
area.
what has to
It's a
stop?
It's a common area, it's a responsibility of the Sandoval community to take care of it.
It's my understanding that since that's classified as a preserve, it doesn't get treated the same way as the common areas. There's different rules associated with the preserve, and that's why it's being cut on a quarterly basis.
It's not being done, is what I'm saying.
Well,
And that's all, it's not being done. You tell me when they've done it, and that's all. But, I don't wanna keep going back and forth. It's upsetting to me to have to look at a piece of property that I've paid a premium for, to look at dead plants, overgrown plants, obstruction of my lake, it's wrong. And I go back and forth, and this has been going on for over 2 years, and I want it to end. We can sit down, we can have a candid conversation of what needs, we're realistic, we're not asking for anything that shouldn't be done, but it has to end and it has to be corrected. And if there's a misunderstanding, it needs to be clarified.
We don't agree.
Well,
But I
then
will
we need to
I
have-
promise to go see you, okay?
We have to have a sit down and come to an agreement, because it's wrong. Thank you. And just further,
But
no,
the
just
treatment
one,
of that area
What's
is
that?
not your decision.
what's that?
The treatment of that area is not your decision. It is not yours.
Well, then it's Sandoval's, and I'm
Yes, it is.
I'm paying an amount of money to make sure that my property looks good. We're paying dues to the community to make sure that common areas are being taken care of, and they're not being taken care of. And,
I told you I'd look at it.
okay, but one other comment I wanna make, you can't, as a community, you can't go to the homeowners and penalize them for violations when you're not meeting your expectations and you're in violation.
That's okay, I don't wanna get in an argument about that.
I don't wanna argue either, I just wanna have, I wanna have it resolved. It's not gonna
It might
end
not
if
be
it doesn't get
resolved to your
resolved.
satisfaction.
No, it's
Patricia.
the right thing to do, which is what the board approved,
Well,
that's
look.
all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Please.
We're over.